Here we are on 6.5 Notes Part 1, rhombus, and just a reminder that the definition is that a rhombus is a quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. Also, the diagonals are perpendicular, and each diagonal bisects the angles. So, like right here, the diagonal bisects the rhombus basically into 2 congruent halves. Okay, so you're going to have that happening. Okay, so here we have some exercises. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. Find each value or measure. So let me make these a little bigger. I'll be right back. All right, so question number 1, if measure of angle ABD is 60, find measure of angle BDC. So ABD is right here, and that's 60. Find the measure of BDC. BDC is right here. Now notice that we have the Z shape, the parallel lines. These are alternate interior angles. So if ABD is 60 degrees, so is BDC. So they are both 60 degrees. For number 2, we have AE. Side AE has a length of 8. Oh, sorry. Segment AE has a length of 8. Find AC. So that would be the entire thing. So in a rhombus, same thing as in a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So if AE is 8, so is EC. So all you have to do is 8 plus 8, that's 16. So AC equals 16. Here we are on number 3. If AB equals 26, that's that, 26. And BD equals 20. Find AE. Okay, so I'm just going to call that X. Now that may look a little bit impossible, and you may not clearly see what you're supposed to do. But if you remember that this is a right triangle, I'm just going to take it out of there and just redraw it right here. So we have a right triangle that's 26, and then here's our X, right? And we know that this pink line right here is 20, but it's also 10 and 10 because that diagonal is being bisected. So I have a 10 here. So I have a 10, an X, and then a hypotenuse of 26. Now, if you want, you can do the Pythagorean theorem. 10 squared plus X squared equals 26 squared. You can figure out the answer that way. Or maybe you might recognize that this is a 5, 12, 13 Pythagorean triple. And notice that to get 10, I would multiply by 2. And to get 26, I would multiply by 2. So that works. So therefore, I would take 12 and multiply by 2 to get X. So 12 times 2 is 24. So AE is 24. But you would get the same answer if you just went ahead and did the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so for number 4, it says find measure of angle CEB. There is no other information. Now, if we know that this is a rhombus, we know that the angles at which the diagonals intersect are right angles. So CEB is therefore 90 degrees. That's it. Here I am on number 5. If measure of angle CBD is 58 degrees, CBD is 58 degrees. Find ACB. ACB is right here. Okay, so it might look impossible at first, but if you remember that we have a right triangle right here, I know that the angle right there is 90 degrees. So I have 90, I have 58, and then I'm looking for ACB. So I'm just going to call that X. So plus X, and all of those angles have to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, and then you can find your X, and that would be ACB. Okay, here I am on number 6. If AE equals 3X minus 1, and AC is 16, so that's this whole thing is 16, find X. Well, if the whole thing is 16, then each piece has to be 8. So I know that 3X minus 1 equals 8. And then all you have to do is solve for X. Okay, here I am on number 7. If measure of angle CDB is 6y, CDB is right here, 6y, and ACB is 2y plus 10, ACB right here is 2y plus 10, find y. Okay, now this one might look impossible, but it really isn't. So once again, we know that we have right triangles here. We also know that we have an isosceles triangle right here because these two sides are congruent. So if I have 6y over here, I also have 6y over here, right? So then if I isolate this triangle, this right triangle right here, I'm just going to put it down here. I have 6y and I have 2y plus 10 in that triangle. So I already have 90 degrees right here. So what's left for the other two is another 90 degrees. So I know that 6y plus 2y plus 10 has to equal 90 degrees. And then you solve for y. All right, finally, I have number 8. If AD is 2x plus 4 and CD is 4x minus 4, find x. Well, in a rhombus, all sides are congruent. So therefore, 2x plus 4 has to equal 4x minus 4. And from there, you just solve for x. Okay. I hope this made sense. The answers are located on the next page, right? Let me know if you have any questions.